Kirubai Kahoot. So we are here to talk about love. What's love got to do with it? I know we are not singing the song, but we are talking about what does love have to do with confidence. So, Kirubai, over to you.
Hi, once again, I would like to wish all a happy Valentine's Day. If you know the story behind Valentine's Day, it's a very interesting story. It's about Saint Valentine. For those who do not know the story, I'm not going to tell you the story, but go read it up. But Elizabeth and I are going to speak about the greatest Valentine in our lives, and that is Jesus, who loves us so much. And we're going to bring a different spin today because Valentine's Day speaks about love, that eros love. But today we're going to talk about the agape love of God who has come through his son Jesus Christ. And this is not religion for your information. We're going to talk about a relationship with this man, with this deity, with God, who died, who sent his son to die for us. And that's really exciting. As a personal transformation coach, one of the things that really gets me all excited is love. And we're going to start with loving God first and then moving on to self love and then loving others. These are the three things that today Elizabeth and I are going to share little snippets because Elizabeth, as a thriving coach, knows, and her depth of it is she knows if you love yourself, you will do something about yourself and move on to purpose and destiny. And Elizabeth is going to bring that point across very strongly. And I'm going to take a different spin to this. So I'm going to pass the um, mic to mic drop to Elizabeth Olijimo for to speak about God's love and how it takes on a precedence in our life today.
Wow, wow. Thank you for that intro. Okay, so if you're just joining us, we are talking about what's love got to do with it. And we're talking about love from different aspects. So just like Kirubai said. Now, I'm gonna, I think, let me just make this personal because I think sometimes hearing from someone's experience helps you to understand it a little bit more. So when we talk about the love of God, for example, um, if you're watching, have you experienced the love of God? And if you haven't, because the thing about the love of God is that it's constantly available, and it's like a gift that is constantly given to you, and you have to embrace it, you have to accept it, because the Bible tells us that God loves us. So what does that even mean? Unless you accept a gift, you can never enjoy the depth of the gift. So if we look at the love of God as a gift, it's a gift that needs to be discovered. It's a gift that needs to be unfolded. So yes, he says, I love you, but beyond that. And when we read the Bible talks about different expressions of God's love. The Bible tells us about how he loved us so much that he was willing to pay an ultimate sacrifice
Amen.
for us because he loved us. But beyond that, on a daily basis, we can experience God's love. Sometimes we are not aware of it. Sometimes we are not sensitive to it. But just because you're not aware of something doesn't mean it's not there. Just because you're not aware of God's love for you doesn't mean that God's love for you is not available. The little miracles that you see on a day-to-day basis, that's an expression of his love for you. The people that he has put around you to support you, to help you, to encourage you, that's an expression of his love for you. One of the things that I came to understand when I was I was in a relationship with my husband before we got married, I used to just kind of sit there in awe of God and say, God, thank you for expressing your love for me through him. And that's what happens. Because he's loving me, it's an expression of God's love just expressed through him. Because God expresses himself through each and every one of us when we allow him to.
Mhm.
He does that.
It's so
And
beautiful.
so when we talk about God's love, don't think about it like this, like you're waiting for a loud voice from heaven to come and say, Kirubai, I love you. That's not how God's love works. God's love is expressed daily, but you need to open your eyes to it, open your ears to it. You need to embrace it, you need to accept it. Because even when the Bible talks about how he loved us, that he sent his only son, unless you accept, you cannot enjoy the relationship. Unless you accept that, yes, he loves me, you cannot enjoy the relationship. So today we're talking about what's love got to do with it. And I can speak for myself totally that everything that I do, the way I live my life, is because of that love.
Mhm.
So love has everything to do with it. And the Bible does actually say God is love. God is love. So, yes, there's different facets of love, but the love that we're addressing today, the agape love, the love that is unconditional, the love that knows no bounds, the love that keeps no record of wrongs, the love that is kind, the love, it's not the kind of love that says, no, you hurt me yesterday, I cannot have a relationship with you today. I cannot, that's not the kind of love. It's a love that keeps no record of wrongs. Every day we start afresh because his mercies are new every morning. Because his love for us is available every single day, every minute, every hour. So love has everything to do with it. Honestly. Over to you, Kirubai.
No, when you talked about how God's love is expressed through Tunji, I know I can imagine the way he calls you baby. It's so much of love, and and I see that in your marriage, and it's practical. I see the way he treats you, very kind, and the way he embraces your little one and the family. There's a lot of love that is because God poured his love into his heart to express that. I can say that of my 13 years of marriage to Robert. We have our ups and downs, and but God is good. He The little things that he does for me, the little um expressions of his love. Like today I said, let's go somewhere and just have something. Oops, I lost you, Elizabeth. So, and I'm going to continue. So we went out for a while, had a crab Suzette, and had a cup of coffee, just held hands, and that is the way. Hello, I lost you for a bit.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think it was a connection on my end, but let's keep going.
Okay, so expressing love through our spouses is beautiful, and for those who have your partners, your spouses, those who have someone beside you, treasure them and love them, reciprocate. And for those who have do not have a partner, it doesn't matter, because in your singleness, God is love. He's embracing you, he's giving you his love. So embrace that love, embrace that singleness, and walk confidently, knowing that someday out there the man will walk into your life. So, for those ladies and guys who do not have a permanent relationship, a resident in someone's heart, do not fear. It is around the corner. But embrace God's love today. It is free. So, moving on from God's love, let's talk about self love on Valentine's Day. So, Elizabeth, what is your take on self love and how does it build confidence on this very special day?
Wow, wow. Self love. This conversation about self love um, can be, I'm trying to look for the right word. Sometimes we see people practicing self love or what looks like self love, and it's to an extreme. You love yourself to the point that you're selfish. But the self love we are talking about is a point where you love yourself and you love others.
Mm,
So it's the love that the Bible talks about when the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So you have to love you first, because that's the level, the degree to which you need to love your neighbor. So you have to have an understanding of what loving you looks like. And for me, loving me means I take care of me. Loving me means I need to make sure that I'm at my best. It means I need to practice self-care. And self-care is so, so, so important. It's something that we all need to make a priority in the day-to-day things that we are doing. It's important for us to practice self-care. Don't wait. I've said this. I said it on another broadcast that I was doing. Don't wait for someone to give you permission for you to
mhm,
love yourself.
mhm.
No. Give yourself permission to love you and love you to the full. And honestly, when I say love you, I'm not saying be selfish and don't care about anyone else, but I am saying love you to the point that you are willing to invest in developing you, because you realize that there is value in you and on you. And when you realize that you are a person of value, a person who carries value, and you want to bring more value to the world, because you realize that what you carry is treasure, what you carry is valuable. Part of loving you means dressing decently. It means I don't go showing every bit to everybody. No, it means that I cover me. It means that I dress decently. It means that my character is in the right place, because I'm loving me. I am working on me so that I'm presenting my best self to the world and to the people around me.
Self love is like, I mean, for me, it is self respect. You know, you're talking about wearing stylishly and wearing your clothes, carrying your clothes with confidence and in style, meaning that you don't have to show your bits. You can be modestly covered and look so magnificent,
That's it.
so out there, so beautiful out there. And these modern days, young girls who are watching this, I just want to encourage you to cover your bits.
You heard it from the stylish queen.
Cover your bits because that is the respect you give yourself. And that is self love. And that is self care.
Mm,
And you know, I've always told Elizabeth this. I've eaten more salt than most of you guys on this platform. But I want to tell you something. Men see a woman dressed up in a way that she doesn't respect herself, they lose respect for you. So, women, young girls, keep away from these kind of men and also keep away from these practices. I might sound old fashioned, but one day these words will ring in your ears. Respect yourself. And on
Mm,
that point, Elizabeth, I wanted to share with you one of the things about self love is I was telling you on Monday that I've become a little cranky. And, uh, and the root cause being I've not practiced self love by connecting to the Maker.
mm,
When I'm plugged to the Maker and having my prayer time and quiet time, my meditation, I'm a better person.
mm,
And being a better person means my character and nature. I have a better standing of my character and nature. And I have been cranky. This last 10 days, I've been cranky. I'm not making excuses. I'm not making excuses for my crankiness. But you know what? It has exposed a part of me that I need to take and work at it. Why is
mm.
this crankiness coming out, rising up? So because I love myself, I have to work on these things. And and being a personal transformation coach, I have to role model these things. I have to
Absolutely.
walk the talk. So today I spent some time going back and putting it in paper and seeing where have I gone wrong?
Mm,
What is the areas that I need to have a MOT? Because he loved me, I have to love myself to offer myself as a beautiful sacrifice for this man who loves me, and that's Jesus. And
mm.
also the man God has given me, because these character trails that are not good is also overflowing into our relationship. Cranky, like an old woman. Sorry, take it on.
Honestly, yes. Self love is so important because it helps us to I want to say invest in ourselves, but it helps us to, excuse me, to be at our best. It helps us to realize that actually Elizabeth doesn't function well when she lacks sleep. So maybe Elizabeth needs to sleep a bit more. Self love. It helps you to to take time to look after you. And we're not always as intentional in looking after ourselves, especially if you're someone who's, for example, someone who's a giver, or someone who's, if you're a mother. Sometimes mothers, we are so spread out, we are thinly spread, we're doing this, we're doing that, this child needs this person needs that. Or if you come from a community where you are very family oriented, you're very, you're doing this, you're spreading out yourself too much. But you need to realize that you're not superhuman, and this is flesh. This flesh breaks, wear and tear. So you need to take time out to look after you, to look after your yourself, like from a spiritual standpoint, from a physical standpoint, from an emotional, from a mental. There's different, I want to say, compartments of self-care that you have to think about. One of the workshops that I run sometimes is a workshop on self-care, and just how self-care should be a priority. And we talk about pillars in self-care, and some of those pillars are the spiritual side, the financial side, the mental side, the emotional side. All those areas are so important. You can look after yourself physically, but if you're suffering spiritually or financially, it's going to have a knock-on effect on the other pillar. So we have to be able to find a balance, find a rhythm in life that gives you a balance, where you're balanced in the financial, spiritual, mental. Because guess what? If, for example, the financial side, you're not taking care of yourself, it's going to affect your mental well-being. So you need to find a balance, and your mental well-being will affect your physical well-being. So self-love on all those aspects, because sometimes when we think of self-love, we think of, going for a spa, we think of all these things. But actually, self-love doesn't have to be expensive. Self love is not just for people of a certain class. Self love could literally be as simple as getting more sleep. Self love could be as simple as taking a walk. It could be as simple as just having quiet time all by yourself. It could be as simple as going out for a cup of tea. I do it. I do. If you've not seen the evidence, go watch my video that I
Yes,
posted yesterday.
I
I
saw
go out,
that.
I do
I
it.
saw that. I saw that. Yes.
Self love is taking time out for you and the things that you love. And when I posted that video, one of the things I said was schedule time for things that make you smile. That's self love. Making time to do things that make you happy, things that make you laugh, things that make you smile. It's so important. It's great that you can make so many people smile. You can put a smile on so many people's faces. But what about putting a smile on your face? If it's not something that you're practicing, honestly, go and look at your planner, your schedule, your diary, whatever it is, and try and put some things in that diary, in that planner where you're looking after yourself. Self-love, journaling is an example of self-love. These habits that we take on to help with our well-being, they're part of self-love, because I want to be well. I want my being to be well. So I'm going to do the things I need to do to make sure I am well, because I cannot pour out on empty.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be full so I can pour out. Because if you're constantly pouring out, pouring out, pouring out, there will be a day when you're empty and you need people to pour in. But don't wait for people to come and pour in. You go and find the avenues that fill you up. Fill up your cup so that you have something to pour into someone else. That's what self love is about.
Self love is also walking in the park and smelling the flowers, enjoying hearing the birds sing,
Mm,
because it does something to your soul. When you get up in the morning and you hear the birds sing, or you hear the rustles of the the leaves under your feet, all these, it triggers of happy senses in yourself. And and once you feel the feel good factor, you already know that you are in a place of zen, that, like how people call it zen, in a very peaceful place. And that
mm,
is being consciously confident in your state, in a state of peace, contentment. When contentment comes in, that means you're loving yourself, because it kind of triggers off. When you're not content in yourself, that's where all this negativity in character attitudes just rise up within you.
that's it.
So going back to my fact about the crankiness. So there was a part of me that I needed to dig deep and see, where is this stemming from. I have not found yet the root cause, but I know I'm getting closer. So maybe probably next week I might be able to share on this matter. But at this moment, I'm digging and digging, because I need to know. I'm always about finding the root cause and nipping it from the bud, and not having to go back, return, thus far, no more further. Because I love myself. I love myself.
Mm,
I love myself. And when I love myself, I can love others. And that's the third point we're going to talk about today. How you can love others.
awesome,
So,
awesome.
Elizabeth, what's
Kirabai,
your take on you? Yeah.
Before we talk about loving others, I'm just gonna throw it in here, and I'll bring
Okay.
it back at the end. But talking about self-love, one of the areas of showing self-love to yourself is by taking time out to discover you. And on 25th of February, we are having a session with some
Ah.
amazing ladies. And honestly, this is part of you loving on yourself. Come to our confidence culture workshop. This is our invitation to you to come to the Confidence Culture Workshop happening on 25th of February. And I'll put the flyer up just so you can see it as well. It's going to be on the 25th of February. It's here in London. So as many as are able to, please do come. You can make it a weekend, a weekend in London. And just come join us, be part of this. It's going to be about discovering yourself, and there'll also be an opportunity where we have a lovely surprise, and an amazing lady is going to be available to give some pampering sessions to some of the ladies during the breaks. So honestly, you can't go wrong.
Mhm.
It's going to be a great time of discussion, a great time of networking. So I encourage you to do register, do pop in, come and be part of it. It's going to be amazing. That's also self love.
Yes.
So
Well tied up, Elizabeth. Well said.
I should jump in there. Right. So the other aspect that we wanted to talk about as well was about loving others. Honestly, and I think if you genuinely love yourself, you have to love others by default. If you genuinely love yourself, because doing you involves working with others, because no man is an island. I cannot fulfill purpose on my own.
Mm,
Me fulfilling purpose means I need to interact with others. And when the Bible talks about being able to love others, it is out of loving yourself that you're able to love others. They say that hurting people hurt others.
mhm,
So if you don't love yourself, how do you know to love others? How do you know to love others? And I know there's a lot of people out there who will will show love and care to others, but they won't show it to themselves.
mhm,
There's something wrong there. There's a problem that needs to be fixed. So, honestly, loving others is so important. And when you're able to love others in relation to confidence, because you love yourself, there's a confidence about you. And that confidence is reflected in the way you love others. You're not insecure. Sometimes we don't love because of insecurity. We don't love because we're looking at somebody else and comparing ourselves to them. We're looking at them and saying they're better than us. We're looking at them and saying, but they have this and I don't have that. But love yourself to the point that you're able to let the love overflow to loving others. It's so important.
mhm. I like the the statement that you made, and it really resonates in my heart about hurt people hurt others, because you start bleeding onto others. And being a personal transformation coach inside out, and one of the subjects that I am going to broach on the 25th of February is you are what you wear. I am going back to it because when your insides are all in a mess, it's somehow or other it translates in the way you dress, the way you carry yourself in confidence, the way you wear your makeup, the way you wear your jewelry, and the way you seek unwanted attention. It stems from your insides.
Mm,
So ladies who are out there, if you are searching for answers in these areas, come join us on the 25th of February, because there's going to be revelation after revelation about some of these things. That's if you really want to work on yourself.
mm,
And purpose, as Elizabeth says, purpose. When you find your purpose, then you also find contentment and happiness, because you know you are in a space where you are a trail bearer, a trailblazer, and you are touching lives.
That's it.
So, ladies, come join us. Come join us, because when you start working on yourself, you are able to touch many lives, and touching lives is loving someone and touching their lives. Like Elizabeth says, no man is an island. No man is an island.
No man, no woman.
No man, no woman is an island.
Mm,
We are made for each other, to be an influencer, to be a connector, to be that person to bless someone else. When you start giving yourself off, you see how abundance you will receive.
mm,
And that's what I like working with Elizabeth, because the first time when we started doing this, the question I asked Elizabeth, is it all right? And Elizabeth was game. Elizabeth's a very busy woman. And she was game because she wants to give and touch lives. She wants to give and touch lives, and commitment. We There is a commitment that goes on in the background for us to do every week, sitting for an 45 minutes to an hour talking about confidence. But it's because of our love for you, that we love you. We want you to share the same joy and happiness and peace and prosperity that we have found discovering our purpose and destiny.
mm.
So, Elizabeth, what does loving others mean to you?
Ooh. What a question. What a question.
Because
Do you know
you're a
what?
people person. You're a people person. So, what's your take on it?
So I think one of the things about loving others is treating others the way that you would like to be treated.
Mm,
So if you wouldn't like to be spoken a certain way, then don't speak to others a certain way. If you wouldn't like to be on the receiving end of a particular attitude, don't go giving the attitude. For me, loving others is preferring others, is putting their needs sometimes before mine. That doesn't mean I don't put my needs there, but sometimes it means, do you know what, Elizabeth? Today it's not about you. Today it's about someone else. Take time out to be with them. Take time out to just make time for them. And just even talking about that, loving others means being able to take time out of your schedule to make time for others. Today, for example, I had a busy day, but about 2 hours ago, I messaged someone. She's been wanting to talk, and I said, "Okay, 5:30, let's have a conversation." Was I busy? I was busy, and in fact, while we were talking, I was doing things. But I knew she had reached out to me a couple of days ago. She wanted to talk. I had to make time for her. Loving others is making time. In the busyness of your schedule, it's being able to say, actually, I'm going to cut out some little time for you here. I'm going to make time here because time is our most valuable asset. Sometimes I might not be able to give you money, but if I can give you my time, that can make a difference. So I did that. I had a conversation with her and I was busy doing things, but I was trying to be present in the conversation too. And at the end of the conversation, I said, has this conversation helped you answer the questions you wanted answered? And she said, yes. Now, honestly, did I have time? I didn't really have time. But loving others is being able to say, okay, yes, I've got this going on and I'm trying to do this, but let me try and see how I can carve out some time for you here or there. So, loving others is not just something that I say, it's something that I do. So, a day like Valentine's Day, when people are expressing love to themselves, it's not always about the roses, it's not always about the spending money, the lavish meals, the lavish presents, but actually, what does love look like? Because I could buy you presents today and tomorrow I'm hating on you, tomorrow I'm beating you up, Tomorrow I'm speaking negative statements to you. That's not love. And love is not just about one day in a calendar. Love is something that we express daily. It's something that we live out. It's an active word. It's not passive. It's active. It's something that we do. So loving others is not just, sister, I love you, brother, I love you. It's actually being there for them when they need you to be there. And sometimes in our Christian circles, we like to say, I'll pray for you. But sometimes I like to think, actually, beyond praying, what can you do? Because you're not spending 24/7 praying. So beyond praying, what can you do for somebody? If somebody, for example, is hungry and they're struggling financially, saying I'll pray for you might not necessarily be the answer they're looking for, because they have a tangible need. So love looks like, actually, how can I help them meet a need? How can I meet a need for this person beyond praying, beyond words of encouragement? How can I be practical with my love? And that is it for me. Love has to be practical. Love is not something we just talk about. It's something that we do. It's something that we live out. And like I said earlier on, and yes, absolutely, Sister Colin, time is money. When I can give my time, I might not be able to give you the money that you need, but can I give you my time? Can I make space for you somewhere in my busy schedule? It's important, guys. And I keep saying it's important because everything we're saying is important, right? But it's so key that we think about these things, that I can't just keep saying I love you, but I'm not present for you. I can't keep saying I love you and expect gifts to settle it. Yes, we all have different love languages. That's fine. But our love has to be active. Our love has to be something that we do, not just something that we say. Saying I love you is not enough. I show it. That's why when you come to marriage and you have to say vows, it's a commitment in sickness and in health. So no matter what we're going through in life, I am making a promise, a covenant with you that I'm going to be there, not just in the good times, but even in the bad times. Loving
So,
others.
so true. Especially, when someone who's so close to you as your spouse, they know you're good and the bad, the ugly. And how are we going to show uh, how are we going to show this love to the other person? You know, how are we going to show that love to the other person? Because and again, going back to the fact that the way we respond or react is in our hands. We can take a very reactive manner to things that are spoken to us, or we're going to respond it in a positive way. And the person who's closest to us, who's like our second skin, is our spouse, who knows our in and outs. We can't hide. Well, when you are dating, when you are courting, all the lovey-dovey days are on. They don't really see the true self. But when you are in a commitment and in a covenant, then all the good, the bad, the ugly comes out. And this is where we need to work on our character and our attitude and on our nature to suit like gloves.
Mm,
And I always say this to my husband: you and I, we make 100%. You might you might be 30% in something and I might be 70% in something. Or you might be good in something that is you're 80% and I'm 20%. But together we are 100%. And that is the compatibility. And that's bringing loving one another in the love of Christ. Because
mm,
without that love, this marriage covenant can't work, because we draw from Him and we give it to each other. We draw from Him, we receive, and then we share it to one another. I know it's some of these things are very deep, but you know what? We have to speak about these things. These days, marriages are just falling apart, and it's sad, and it's very sad. The sacrament of marriage is been desecrated because of things that don't fit well and not taking it to working it out together. Because the third person, I've always believe in this scripture, a threefold cord is is difficult to break. That means you, your partner, your spouse, and God together, the threefold cord, is difficult to break. So, ladies and gentlemen, think about it. It is a very special day today. Saint Valentine, go and read about him. Because of that man, that the whole world, the whole globe celebrates this Valentine's Day. It has been so commercialized, it's unbelievable. I was walking, I was walking along a florist, and I found 25 red roses, long stem red roses, going for £100,
Wow.
and I was gobsmacked. It's not a one day affair, but it's a lifelong affair with this person you love. So, food for thought today. What's love got to do with it? It's all about love today.
Mm.
Pastor Tunji says, £100? Yes, indeed, £100.
Pastor Tunji, better speak to Kirubai so you can go and get those 25 roses. No pressure.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh
Yeah.
dear.
Just to go back to the question, what's love got to do with it? And I said earlier on that experiencing the love of God has made me the person that I am today. And I'm sure, Kirubai, you can say the same thing. It has made you the person that you are today. So when we ask the question, what's love got to do with it? That's it. That's it. Because of that love we have experienced, we have a confidence to come and do what we are doing today. We have a confidence to come and show up here and have this conversation. Because of the love that we have experienced, we have the confidence to step up and do the things that we are doing, run the businesses that we are running, be present in the communities that we are present in, because of that love that we have experienced. And you will realize that there's when you experience a love, when you experience love from different aspects, like when I experience love in a, whether it's in a relationship or whether it's in a whatever it is, it brings confidence to that relationship. It brings confidence to that relationship. So, and I'm not just talking male female spouse relationship. I'm talking about, brother sister. I'm talking about, someone at work that we're not just talking about love from an eros perspective. We're talking about love from an agape perspective. So love with everybody. When I experience love, when people show me love, I have greater confidence in that relationship. I have greater confidence in being able to relate with them and to approach them because of love. So love has everything to do with that. It does.
Indeed, it does. Indeed, it does. So, any final words, Elizabeth? I've got to go and prepare a love meal for Robert. It's halfway done, and and uh, and we're going to have a quiet dinner together at home, lovingly cooked by me. So, your few lovely words, Elizabeth, before we call it a day.
Okay, so honestly, for me, it's just thank you for joining us this evening, Isabel, Tunji, Colin. Thank you for being present. Thank you for engaging with the conversation. Yes, yes, yes. Love is powerful. So don't just don't just wait to receive love, but actually go out and show love. You don't have to know somebody to show them love.
Mhm.
You don't have to. You don't have to know them physically to show them love. So in whatever you're doing day to day, look for opportunities, windows and pockets of opportunities to show love to the people around you. Now, as we finish, right? So you can show love to a Christian lady, a Christian sister in your circle by buying her a ticket for the Confidence Culture Workshop. That is one way that you can show love. So if you're male and you're watching this, one way that you can show love is by buying a ticket for a lovely lady to come to our Confidence Culture Workshop happening on the 25th of February. And if you haven't already registered, please do be in the room so we can have live conversations like this. And just before we finish off as well, just if you are watching this and you are watching this from Malaysia or somewhere in Asia, if you're watching this from somewhere in Asia, we are running monthly Zoom sessions, conversations where we create a space, a safe space for ladies to come and talk. And we have some short talks, we have guest speakers. And honestly, it's been a space where people are being empowered, where people are being lifted, and they're gaining confidence to step out and live their best life, be the best version of themselves. If you want further details on that, please reach out to us and we will send those details to you. Please reach out to us and we'll send the details to you so you can be part of it. It happens on Zoom, so it's not live like this, it's on Zoom, and we just come together. It's once a month and we have conversations. And if you're in Malaysia, maybe you'll see me this year. You'll definitely see Kirubai, but just maybe you might see the thriving coach. Who knows? But honestly, that is a great place to end. So yes, yes, yes. Thank you, ladies, for the feedback that you're giving regarding this session. We'll be back again next week, Tuesday. So thank you once again. God bless you. And I'm just gonna leave the flyer for the Confidence Culture Workshop on here, just as we leave, so that you can have that as a reminder. But honestly, go out and show love to the people around you. If you haven't cooked dinner, go cook dinner. If you haven't bought the 100-pound roses, go out and buy the roses. But do what you can. Love doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just go out and show love. God bless you. That's my final word.
God bless you and love to all.